Hello guys, and welcome to the second semester of your technology class this year. We will continue working with web pages and how to create web pages using HTML and CSS. HTML is the language of the web, and HTML is a markup language, which means that it uses tags and encloses information in tags. In HTML, a tag looks like this. A tag is an element that starts with a less than sign and ends with a greater than sign. Every tag needs to be opened, like this here, and closed, like this here. The closing tag has a slash before the name of the tag or the name of the element. Basic HTML syntax is, as you can see it here in this poster. This information is available both on the syllabus and on here the syllabus, and also in the Google Drive folder that we are sharing for the class. Remember, it's called Coding 1, and you can find it by looking at the Shared With Me section or searching directly for Coding 1 in this search bar up here. This one I'm looking at is called HTML syntax poster. So we're back to the poster. I'll review this simple tag. This is the tag to create links, and it's a good example of how tags work in HTML. Every tag contains at least an element, like this one. In this case, it also includes attributes. Any tag can have multiple attributes. In this case, we have the href attribute, which defines where the link is going. This is the tag to create links. So you can have an element and as many tags as necessary. After the tag, there is always an equal sign and an opening quotation mark. Then the value of the element, in this case http://www.google.com/ and a closing quotation and a greater than sign that closes the tag, same as you see here in this generic example. Finally, between the opening tag and the closing tag, there is usually the content that is enclosed by the tag. All this is the opening tag. Then go to Google is the content that is enclosed by the tag, and /a is the closing tag. /element closes the tag. Remember, you always need to close tags. So now that we know this, we'll move on to creating a simple web page using Komodo Edit, the software that we've been using to create web pages in this class. Komodo was updated recently, so please make sure that you have the latest version. I've put a note here in the syllabus: upgrade your Komodo Edit to version 8.5.3. Please make sure that you have the latest version installed. You can download it by going to the ActiveState website or by visiting the page that is linked here in the site in the resources section. Right here, Komodo Edit downloads. So pop up my Komodo, here we are, and create a new page. This is what a page, the code of a page looks like when it's been created. Let's take a look at this page first. This is a page that I've already created with styles, and I think it looks kind of pretty. It's not wonderfully beautiful, but it's pretty. And I'll preview it here using a Komodo tab. So here we are, it'll open a new tab down here, and this is the page. So this code up here will produce this page down here once we have added styles. So to start, I'll go up to File, New, and create a new file from a template to avoid having to write extra code that Komodo can write for me. So File from Template, and I'll choose where to save it. I'm going to save it in my site folder, that's correct, and give it a name called Intro to HTML.html. Pay attention to how I'm writing this. It's very important when you write names, titles, file names for web pages or for images or videos that go on the web to not use spaces. Spaces don't work very well. So if you need to separate one word from the other, you can use underscores like I did here, or use camel case using upper and lower letters. And always, if it's a web page, you need to add the file extension, HTML. So in this case, I'm calling it intro to HTML.html. When I click open, Komodo will create a blank file with all the required elements of a web page. So let's start by taking a look at that. What did Komodo create, and what are those minimum required elements of a web page? So first, we have, First, we have the, there we go. First, we have the doc type declaration. It's the first line in every page, and it just tells the browser that this document is of the type HTML. There could be others, but we'll not worry about them right now. Then you open HTML, which tells the browser here is where the page starts, and here is where the page ends. See how HTML is every tag is opened and closed. Then the page has two main sections, the head right here and the body right here. The head contains meta information about the page that is not displayed in the browser except for the title. This title is the title that appears in the name of the browser window or the browser tab that you have open. So I'm going to call this one Introduction to HTML Video Example. I save it, and I'm going to go here to Preview and Preview in a Komodo tab. I'll remember this selection for this file so I don't have to do it again, and Preview. There's nothing, but there's one thing I already did. This title that I wrote here is already appearing right here in the title of the tab. If I opened it in the browser, it would be in the title of the browser tab. So that's the first element. And every other element in the head is information about the page. We're going to add just one thing that is required for us Spanish speakers who write in Spanish and who use correct spelling and correct punctuation in Spanish. We need to add the encoding. The encoding is the type of alphabet that is used for the page. That is written with a meta tag. There are many attributes of meta, but we'll use the attribute charset, the character set. And as with every attribute, remember you need equals to, open quotations, and the one we'll be using all along is UTF-8. And finally, we close the tag. Meta is one of those rare few tags that do not need an explicit strict closing, especially in HTML5. In HTML4 strict, it was necessary to close them, but now it's not. Anyway, it's important that you close it in case there is an older browser that does not understand HTML5 properly. So you use this slash in those tags that do not require explicit strict closing, like meta and like image, which we'll see later. This should work all right now, meta charset, and that's all I'm going to add so far in the head. The body is everything that appears in the page. Whatever I write in the body will be the body of the page, will be what the browser shows when it renders my page. I'm going to create a very simple page that contains a title, an image, a link, a list, and a paragraph of text, which are most of the things we have studied how to do so far. The other tag that we learned how to use is CSS, the style tag to add CSS, but we'll work on that in another video. In this case, I'll start writing a title with H1. H1 means header level 1. Level 1 are the top level headers. And this is important. HTML is a semantic markup language. That means that the tags have a meaning. H1 is telling the reader, is telling the browser, is telling the search engine that reads the page automatically that this is an important title, a level 1 title. So I'm going to give it the title that you guys are going to see. It's going to be called Intro to HTML. It shows up in the page right away as soon as I hit save. I usually use Command S on my Mac, but you can go to File and save whenever you need to save something. In this case, it's grayed out because there's nothing new to save. After the title, I'm going to add a list that will later be used as a navigation bar. Lists can be of two types: unordered, those that have bullets, and ordered, those that have numbers. We'll create one without order. So I'll start with UL. Every list that is unordered starts with UL, unordered list, it means. And Komodo automatically adds the closing tag. I hit enter so I can move it down. And I'll add the first item. With LI, list item, I'll add link to, I'll add a text first and then we'll turn that into a link. I'll add the text Google, then another element, I'll add the text Yahoo, and a final element, I'll write my name. Just to make sure that I'm using the stress marks and the non-Latin characters correctly. Down here, you can already see that it's working well. My name is spelled correctly, and it looks okay because I did this up here. I added UTF-8, so this renders correctly. See what would happen if I did not have this tag. It would look horrible. There you are. My name is all broken up because I did not add the correct tag. So to fix that problem, I simply hit the Control or Command C if I'm on a Mac, and that will just bring back whatever I did. Undo. You can again do that with here, edit, undo, or Command or Control C if you're on Windows. So here's my list. Under the list, I'm going to add an image. The element for image is img, and there is one very important required attribute, src, which means source. Where is the image? As with every tag, I start with quotation marks, equals to quotation marks, and here's something very important. I'll show you in my folder structure. I'm saving this page here. This page is called Intro to HTML, right here, in a folder called Sites. This folder right here. So this folder contains Intro to HTML, and at the same level, there is a folder called Images right here. Inside that folder, I've got an image. That image is called nando2010.jpg. It's this wonderful picture of me in 2010 without my glasses on and before I had a beard. I'm going to use that image. To add it, so since my page is here, the path, the URL to that image will be images, to tell it needs to go here into this folder, / nando.jpg. Once I hit save, it'll show up here in the Komodo preview tab. So I'll go up here, save, and I did something wrong. It's Nando 2010. That's why it's not showing up. So I'll save again, hitting Control S or Command S on a Mac. And there you are. The image is ginormous and it looks horrible. So we're going to use one of the attributes that we learned for images in this first term called width. If I define the width of the image in pixels, it'll resize and be the correct width. 150 pixels is okay for this image. And I'm going to define a height that is automatic by saying height auto. Now that I saved, it goes down here and it has 150 pixels of width right here. And the height is adjusted automatically by the browser so the image is proportional and doesn't break up and doesn't look horrible. So remember, I'm pretty sure I didn't tell you this in class. So height auto will make the image correct. You can leave it blank, and that's what we had been doing. That's why I'm pretty sure I didn't tell you. And it'll work, but it's not appropriately great, well done, correct coding. So I'm going to add this tag. And finally, I'm going to add a paragraph. The element for paragraph is P, and then you contain the paragraph in there. I'm going to bring a random paragraph by using this Lorem Ipsum website. Lorem Ipsum is a random Latin text that is popular among designers to just indicate that there is a text there and that it's not written already. So you just use it to fill in the space and make it look okay. Look what happened here. And this is something that you might see. The paragraph is okay in the browser, but up here in Komodo, I'm seeing just one long line instead of a line with carriage returns, and that means word wrapped, that is wrapped to my window size. That is a feature of Komodo. I can make it wrap by going to View and clicking Word Wrap, or using the shortcut Shift, Command, and left parenthesis. If you're on Windows, Control, Command, left parenthesis. So Shift, Command, left parenthesis, and there we are. It's wrapped. And the text is within the P tag and the closing of the P tag. Notice that the image tag is one other tag that does not require closing. So we close it here instead of like this. Instead of writing /img, we just write a slash at the end of the line, and that means we're closing that line already. So here we are. We have a basic web page that includes a title, a list, an image, and a paragraph. We're missing the links. Links are very easy to create in HTML. The element for link is a. I'm going to turn this word Google, into a link to Google. So I open my a tag and use the href property, href attribute, to tell it where it needs to go. And between the a href, the opening tag, which is this one right here, href equals to all this, and the closing tag, which is /a, I need to write the text that will act as a link, that will appear blue, underlined, or depending on your browser preferences. So I'll start by writing the href. Href is the URL to which the link will go. You need to write the complete URL if it's a link outside your site, or the relative URL, like we did for the image if it's inside your site. So I'm going to link to http://www.google.com/ and here between A and A, I'm going to move this text that says Google. I cut, Command X, and paste, Command V, and there we are. So now, down here you can see that Google is a link. Even my cursor changes into the hand that indicates it's a link. Let's do the same for Yahoo. So I'll add href equals, open quotes, https://www.yahoo.com/close, and then move this tag after Yahoo to make it the link, and there you are. Now Yahoo is a link. And I'll make my name a link to my personal webpage. href equals to open http://www.fernandodiazdelcastillo.com. And I'll move the closing tag. So see, now it's not working as a link because there's nothing here. So remember, between the opening tag and the closing tag, right here, you write the text or place the image or put in whatever is going to act as the link, what you will click on whenever you want to visit that link, what the user will click when they're using that link. So I'm going to move this to the end of my name, and that'll turn my name into a link. There we are. It's a link, and it's called fernandodiazdelcastillo.com, and it's all done. So with this short video, you reviewed how to create web pages, the basic structure of an HTML web page, the basic structure of HTML, the basic syntax of HTML, which you can review using this. Remember, this is available in the syllabus, in this HTML reference section, right here. And it's also available in Google Drive in our shared folder called HTML syntax poster. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to comment this video, email me, and of course, ask in class. Thank you.